locked into your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. Now, earlier on in the show, we spoke to Jason McCall, a professional photographer who started a photography challenge on Facebook called the Garden Game Ranger Challenge, where nature lovers across the world have been taking pictures of interesting creatures found in their gardens during the lockdown. Now, we're joined by one of the group's participants, Warren Dick. Warren, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I feel like this conversation is about to get spicier and more interesting.
Great to have you this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Warren, you're a professional photographer, as I understand, and even though the Garden Game Ranger Challenge was meant as a fun project, you and many other participants have actually taken it quite seriously, posting some amazing photos of some of the really strange creatures you found. So, what made you want to get involved in this?
Yes, well, I've been into insects and all kinds of creepy crawlies in the garden ever since I was a small boy. And when I got my first digital SLR camera, I then just met the two passions together for photography as well as for the small creatures. I've been posting stuff on Facebook now for many years about the small creatures I find in my garden, hopefully to help as well dispel fears that many people have around things like snakes and spiders, and also to make people curious about what is in their own garden. And many people go out to these big game parks looking for the big five, and then forget about the small creatures that they've got in their own garden. They don't even know what lives in their own backyard.
That's true, actually, Warren. There are 3 creatures that you've taken photos of in the challenge that you'll be telling us about: the ghost mantis, spiny flower mantis nymph, and the Dwarf burrowing skink. Let's start with the ghost mantis. How common or uncommon is it? And tell us more about its unique look.
Hi, the ghost mantis is actually quite common throughout most of Africa. However, as you probably see by the pictures that I've taken, people very seldomly see them. Their camouflage makes them look exactly like a dead leaf on a plant. And unless you actually go and examine the plants and all the dead leaves, you probably wouldn't see it there. You also have a unique self-defense mechanism. If you do spot them on a plant, they'll just drop to the ground like a dead leaf and remain motionless, so you wouldn't even know that it was there to start off with.
You know, Warren, it's truly amazing to see what you photographed, and even, you know, I think people need to take a bit more time to look at these beautiful creatures, how unique they are, how beautiful they are, if you had to imagine what happened on an evolutionary scale or a creation scale to come to this result. And so I want to hear a bit more about the spiny flower mantis nymph that you photographed.
Yeah, to me, they're probably one of the most unique creatures I've ever seen in my life. I've been looking at observing them in my own garden as well as a local nature reserve for some 8 or 9 years now, and I just never get tired of seeing them. I remember as a kid I used to go to the library and get books out the library and saw these amazing creatures in a book, and I thought, wow, I'd love to go to a tropical rainforest where these things exist to photograph them one day. Little did I know that they actually lived in my own backyard garden. Yeah, they're actually able to adapt their color to the plant as the seasons change. And obviously the plant that they're on changes color, they can change their color to adapt as well. Funny enough, they live in the exact same place within 1 square meter of where they were hatched for their entire life until they get their wings and they fly off and look for a mate.
Oh, so they're not much of explorers. They've been on lockdown before we were on lockdown. No, I'm kidding. Warren, then there's the Dwarf burrowing skink, which is apparently endangered.
Yes, I'm so fortunate to have these critically endangered reptiles in my own garden. Many people, when they discover them in their garden, they actually think they're a snake because they've actually got no limbs whatsoever. That's actually a species of lizard, but they don't have legs. That's how they were created, without legs. They live pretty much under the ground where they feed on small insects, and they particularly love people's compost heaps. And unfortunately, the Bluff area of Durban is probably the only place left on Earth where these incredible little creatures can be found. And most of the places where they can be found is in people's own back gardens on the Bluff.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I mean, this has been an education, to say the least.
Yes.
Warren, thank you so much for giving us a tour of your back garden in some sort of way. We really appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much.
We certainly do appreciate his time and finding out more about these interesting creatures that he's taken pictures of in his garden. And I think it opens up a doorway to a whole new world of fascination
Yes.
and entertainment and intrigue that you can find yourself exploring during this lockdown. So check out that Garden Game Ranger Challenge. Perhaps there's a Garden Game Ranger in you.